Chapter 28 The Old Man reports. Hope begins to weaken. The next day was Sunday. In the very early morning, Hans called gently at the old man's door. "Please let me come in. Is it early, Hartfried?" "There's no will open this door night or day, boy." These words dangled to the boy's ears. He could not remember hearing any so kind and priestess before. The door was quickly opened, and he entered. "Now, boy, I hope that you are hungry, because as soon as the sun came up, we'll have something hot to eat. We hoped that you would come here again last night." "When I heard the gun, I ran for 3 miles. I came now because I want to know what happened. I came before daylight because I do not want to miss those men, living or dead." "They are not dead, boy. We are sorry for that." "They heard answered me, and they ran. Then we went down to the village to get help. Men have gone to work and the river. More men will hurt through the forest today. My son will join us. We'll join them. I wish we had seen those 2 men." "Could you see them in the dark?" "I can tell you about them. One is a man that you have seen in the village. We have long white hairs. He can hear and he can talk." Then he told about the other man's face and coat. When his son had gone, Mr. John asked Hans why he had followed the man up the hill. Hans told of the mustard that one man was Indian John, but he did not tell about the box of money. Soon people began coming to the house, and Hans went where they could not see him. Mr. Dollar was among the first to come. She came to thank Mr. John for saving her from being hurt by the man. "You should not thank me," he said. "There is another person who did more to help you." But he did not want thanked. All the people in the village went to church early that day. They want to talk about the talk-best men. The 2 had not been found, and nothing has been learned about where they had gone. Leaving the church, Mrs. Thatcher walked behind Mr. Harper. She said, "Is my Becky going to sleep all day?" "You Becky?" "Yes, she stayed with you last night, I believe." "No." Mr. Thatcher stopped suddenly. "She seemed it." At this moment Aunt Polly joined them. She said, "Good morning, Mr. Thatcher." "Good morning, Mr. Harper. I suppose that my Tom stayed with friend or George last night without telling me, and now he is afraid to come to church." Mrs. Thatcher seemed more used than before. She moved her head, saying, "No, he did not stay with us," said Mr. Harper. Her face showed surprise and a little fear. Aunt Polly also showed fear. "Joe Harper," she said, "have you seen my Tom this morning?" "No." "When did you see him last?" But Joe could not remember. People had stopped moving out of the church. The story traveled quickly among them. Children were questioned. No child could remember seeing Becky and Tom on the returning river boat. It was dark then. No person had thought of country the group. A young man now says that Tom and Becky might be lost in the cave. Mr. Thatcher closed her eyes tightly. Aunt Polly began to weep. Within 5 minutes, bells were ringing, and all the people were gathering. What had happened at Mr. Doran's house was not important now. In half an hour 200 men were going either by river or by road towards the cave. Towards the long afternoon the village seemed dead. Many women went to visit Aunt Polly and Mrs. Thatcher. They were with them, and there was more help than words. Towards the long night the town wished for news. But in the morning only this news came: "Send more food and more light." Mr. Thatcher was almost ill, and Aunt Polly also. Old Mr. John came home from the cave at noon, and discovered that Hank was sick. Mr. Dollar came to care for him. Other men began to return from the cave, but the stronger men continued their hunt. They received the front part of the cap. They shot the shotgun, but they had no answer. Often a light would be seen far away and they would think that the shooting was found. But the light always belonged to another of the hunters. The man's Becky and Tom were found marked on a rock, and the string that had tied Becky's hair was found. 3 days and nights passed. Huck asked about Tom Sawyer. Mr. Dollar said, "Quiet, child. You must not talk. You are very sick." You began to weep. There were not many now with enough hope of staying to continue hunting for Tom Sawyer.